Why do intelligent people stay silent? Have you ever thought of the perfect answer, 5 minutes too late? You walk away from the conversation, replay every word in your head, and suddenly you know exactly what you should have said. It feels frustrating. Almost embarrassing. But here's something that might surprise you. This doesn't always happen because you're slow. In fact, it often happens for the opposite reason. Deep thinkers tend to process information more deeply before they speak. They notice details that most people completely miss. Imagine you're sitting in a meeting. Someone makes a statement. Everyone starts giving opinions. But you stay silent. Because your brain is already asking dozens of questions. Is that really true? What are they not seeing? By the time you've considered everything, the conversation has already moved on. Many thoughtful people mistakenly believe this means they're bad at communication. It doesn't. It simply means their mind prefers accuracy over speed. Think about the people you admire most. Were they always the loudest person in the room? Usually not. Many of them listened far more than they talked. Because listening gives the brain something incredibly valuable. Time. Time to observe. Time to connect ideas. Someone who speaks only a few sentences. But everyone remembers them. The difference isn't the number of words. It's the weight behind them. Silence often looks like hesitation from the outside. But inside, something very different is happening. Your brain is comparing memories. Looking for the best answer instead of the fastest one. Of course. Silence isn't always wisdom. Sometimes people stay quiet because they're afraid. But if your silence comes from careful thinking, don't mistake it for weakness. Some of the greatest decisions in life were made by people who first chose to listen. The next time you leave a conversation thinking, I should have said that. Don't be so hard on yourself. Maybe your mind wasn't slow. Maybe it was simply doing what it does best. Thinking before speaking. That might be one of the rarest strengths of all. Silence can be a form of confidence. Not the loud kind. The quiet kind. Have you ever noticed what happens in a group conversation? One person interrupts. But the person who stays calm usually sees the whole picture. They're paying attention to what everyone else is revealing. Because people often tell you far more than they intend to. Not with their words, but with their tone, their pauses, their facial expressions. People who think deeply often notice these small details without even trying. And those details completely change the meaning of a conversation. Imagine someone says, I'm fine. The words sound positive. But their voice is flat. Most people hear the sentence. A careful observer notices the person. That's a very different skill. Of course. There are moments when staying silent isn't the right choice. Your opinion matters. Your voice matters. The challenge is knowing the difference between speaking to add value and speaking simply because the silence feels uncomfortable. Many conversations become noisy because people are afraid of quiet moments. But pauses have power. A pause gives people time to think. A pause often makes the next sentence much more meaningful. Think about the people who made you feel understood. Were they talking the entire time? Or were they listening? Giving you space to finish your thoughts? Maybe your silence has never been the problem. But volume and wisdom have never been the same thing. Some of history's greatest thinkers weren't remembered because they spoke the most. They were remembered because, when they finally spoke, people listened. The next time you're in a conversation, don't feel pressured to answer immediately. Take a breath. Think. Observe. Then speak when your words truly mean something. Because the goal isn't to speak more. The goal is to say something worth remembering. And perhaps that's exactly what thoughtful people have been doing all along.